Today's feeling like a fresh start. Let's pull some tarot about it. I did a reading, I think it was back in December. If I can find it, I'll screenshot it and put it on the screen somewhere. But in it, I was like, I can smell the new beginnings, the fresh starts. I can smell it in the air, like I can smell it coming in. And today, whenever I like woke up and tapped into this like fresh start energy, it really like sent my mind back to that reading that I gave. Just because it was like such a similar feeling. So I feel like maybe some of the things, yep, definitely, some of the things that are happening now are in reference to that reading or that energy I was picking up on then. The main energy for today's message is that you are in an era of fine-tuning. Things are getting down to a pinpoint so that you can move forward easier. And that's been a big message for me specifically over the past few weeks. So I'm excited to dive into this. So the main thing to start with is that for some of you, you feel like you've been in a weird process of waiting, like a process of like kind of sitting behind and staring at the future and waiting for it to come into you. And that is true, but it's also not. There is a perspective change that is needing to happen if it hasn't happened for you already, which I'm suspecting if you're seeing this video, it has either happened or is happening right now, and you're finally in line with it. But you're not waiting on something to happen. It is currently happening. So what is happening currently in your life is the outcome of a much bigger manifestation you did in the past. So you did some type of manifestation, some type of big change, some type of creation. It's giving this energy where you like really made decisive action and said, this is what my life is going to look like and this is what I'm doing. And so the universe said, bet, okay. But it's a lot of big changes. So you're having to wait for them to come to you because they're huge. They're giant. Like the universe is having to align so many things in the background. It's like the universe came up to you and said, what do you really want? Like, I'll give you 3 wishes. I'll give you 3 wishes. What do you want? And instead of giving 3 separate wishes, you just gave one giant one. One ginormous wish. And the universe was like, babe, okay, if that's what you want. And so it moved mountains, parted seas, and everything else to bring it to you. And now you're about to have it. But it's already happening. So the things that you're currently sitting here having to do is all the work that would have had to have been done for you to eventually get there on your own anyway. So the universe is like basically making you have to prepare for all this big change, because if you don't, then you're not going to be ready for it when it comes to you. But you are ready for it, and you will be ready for it. It's literally about to land right in front of you because you've been having to go through this really weird waiting period where it feels like a lull, and it feels like you're literally becoming a different human. And it's because at the point in your life when you would have naturally gotten to that space, you would be a different human. But the thing is, right now, you're already aligned with that energy. And in some way, you are aligned with the energy then when you very first manifested it. And so now that it's finally come to fruition, now is the time for the quick movement, for the get up and go, for the finish the job, for the new things to come in, for new messages to come in, for big communication to happen. A lot of you are probably about to have some big communication happen, a lot of big communication that you've been expecting to happen, that you've been waiting to happen, that you've been waiting for it to come into you. And now you've probably started to convince yourself, oh God, I'm in this place right now. You've probably started to convince yourself that it's not going to happen, that it's never going to happen, that you might as well just move on and forget about it. But it's finally about to happen because you're ready for it. You're in a different place. You remembered your worth, you decided to move on, and now, because you've decided to move on, everything had to cook in the background. Like when you watch, God, I'm talking forever just on these 4 cards and I still got a bunch out here. But if you watch boiling eggs or eggs that are on the boiler, to wait for them to boil, they're never going to boil. They take so long. You have to walk away. You have to just be like, all right, they're gonna boil. They're gonna boil, and I'm gonna go focus on something else for a second. Don't leave a hot stove in your house. That's dangerous. This is a metaphor. Anyway, now for a lot of you, this does have to do with love. I'm tired of love readings, but it's fine. It's okay, because this is a little bit of a different one. So in this, for some reason in love, some of you have been feeling like you have been stuck between a rock and a hard place. You feel like you've been stuck in an impossible decision, and you've been trying to choose between 2 paths. But what you don't realize is that the 2 paths that you're trying to choose between, they're the same path. They're actually the same thing. They're 2 sides of the same coin. I don't even know what that means, but we're gonna dive into what the reading is saying and hopefully it'll align with you. But basically the 2 things that you were wishing between, or that you were constantly feeling like, which one do I decide? They were actually the same. You could have both of them by just doing it. So if you chose one, you'd be choosing a priority but eventually you would still route back around to the other and vice versa. It's just that it would have looked different. So if you would have chosen one path, I'm sensing that you would have chosen to have both of them with that one person. If you would have chose the other path, you would have had one thing with this person and then routed back around and had something with this other person later on. Or it could have been the same person on each side, just a different type of life or a different type of stepping stone, but ultimately, no matter what, you would have had both energies in the same place. And so right now, though, what is happening and what has been happening is you're coming to the end of bringing in opposite energy, inverse energy. I'm wording that very specifically for a reason. So this card has to do with everything that you need, having all the things that you need, having emotional abundance, having like every need is met. You're not having to make any decisions. Everything is just there for you. You're ready to finish the process. You're ready to have your happy ending. Things are coming to an end and finally over. But the opposite of this energy is what's being brought into you. The reason why is because you have been making some big wishes, and it takes a lot of time for this to come in. So the universe is having to fine tune. It's having to say, you made this really big wish and I'm going to bring it to you. I'm going to bring it to you. But now is your chance to say whether or not you actually want all of it or just specific pieces of it. Is it the energy of it that you're wanting, or is it actually this specific thing that you're wanting? And so you've been being brought in a lot of that energy to show you, what do you want? What do you not want? What are you sure? Are you positive? And you've been doing that, and good job. The universe is literally celebrating you. Your guides are uplifting you and screaming joy for you from heavens, from the depths, from wherever your guides are at. They're like, good freaking job. They were worried for a second. They were sweating because they really thought you were going to stick with the big thing, or that if you were going to stick with it, you weren't going to be ready for it. But some of you said, you know what? It's okay if I don't have this big thing. I just want some of the energy of it. And then some of you said, you know what? I want this big thing and I'm about to step the F up. I'm about to step up and I'm gonna be ready for it and I'm claiming it. And so your guides are literally celebrating you. So good job. Now, for some of you that chose the big thing, you chose it because you saw what it truly could be and what it was. You saw it at its core for what it will be one day, and that's awesome and that's great. And so you manifested this big thing coming in, this huge thing coming in that aligned like with where you were in that moment. The thing is though, because you have really leveled up over the last like 2 months, for some of you it's been about 6 months, I'm feeling like 6 to 8 months. For some of you it's been like 2 months. So for the past 2 months, you've really leveled up. You've really aligned with who you are. You've fine-tuned who you are and things like that. So you're bringing in that energy, but you're also bringing in a lot of pain and heartache that is not quite over, that you're going to have to face with that energy. And that's okay, because it will be worth it in the end. You're going to have a lot of really great communication and a lot of really great movement coming in for you that is going to solidify this. And it's like part of this whole thing. Like there's big communication, big movement and things like that coming in. And it's going to be worth it in the end, but there's still a lot of hard work that has to happen, because whatever it is, whatever this situation, whatever it is that you really manifested and are bringing into yourself, it requires a lot of work for not just you, but someone else. Someone else here, both of you have to put a lot of work into it. So you've done a lot of great work on yourself, and it seems like they have too, but there's a lot of work that now has to happen together. And that's okay. You chose that, so stick with it. Choose it indefinitely. And if you've continued to choose it up to this point, you're going to choose it indefinitely. So good job. But just be ready, because it's still going to be some hard work, and don't lose yourself in it. Don't lose the progress you've made as a human. Don't lose the progress that you've made as an individual, because that's what's most important right now. That is the work that the universe has been pushing on you for this last little bit of time. Don't lose that just because you have someone else you have to work with now. Remember who you are by yourself. And I'm going to summarize the last little bit. Basically, the work is not over quite yet, but you are so capable of handling it now. There are a lot of big changes that are going to be happening, but these big changes that are going to be happening, or these big opportunities coming in, are just meant to solidify the new version of you that you have fine-tuned. And some of you have been trying to manifest these things like King of Pentacles energy, Queen of Pentacles energy, but you've become the Empress and didn't even realize it. But the Empress does best sometimes when she's on her own. Remember that. If you'd like to book a reading with me, go to my Etsy store, Mage Farms, and be sure to follow. I do readings here all the time. Have an awesome day.